see a skater in this environment on the Pro Tour, it's easy to appreciate the sport of rollerblading. The competitive spirit, the skill and the discipline, the athleticism. But take away the competition and view the skater in their natural environment on the streets, away from the judges, without a code of conduct or mandatory protective gear. And what becomes of the sport of rollerblading? Is it even a sport at all? And if not, then what is it?
Skating is an art because, you know, it's a lot about style. It's portrayed through the person, you know, how he skates. That's his art form, kind of. But it's also a sport because it's very physical. You have to force yourself to do things, you know. You get hurt all the time. Kind of both, you know.
I think it's a way of living. I think it's a lifestyle. You got to floss it good on the street course, but still you got to live like you know, you skate every day, and if you have to go to the store, you put your skates on or whatever, you know. It's like a lifestyle. It's not an art.
Well, whatever it is, up here on the street course in Rome, Italy for the third stop of the ASA Pro Tour, Bruno Louvet flossed it good to start off. An illusion fakie 360 bio style, and then a med spin 540 to start things off.
And then Alexis Adeha coming out, transferring over the rail, 540, kicking out that Liu Kang. He's exhausted after that run.
John Julio trying some of the most difficult tricks, paying the price. Check this out, a little top sole, didn't lock on his front foot, bam, down on the shin.
Yeah, he had some trouble with that gator pit, but then he showed us some quintessential John Julio maneuvers, getting creative off the start gate, and then clean sole grind all the way down the rail.
Clifford Viljoen, the only pro out of South Africa, came out, pulled some great tricks there. Nice little med spin 720, little Soyal, and the big 720, good enough to put him in the final.
The real story of the prelims was Brian Shima. Came out and just killed it. Frontside royale, up the rail, into transition, and he goes true spin, alley-oop sole down the rail. It's a long, steep rail. Brian Shima really just put it all together in both of his runs in the prelims, mixing it up, going over that gator pit, 3 variations in that grind. And then coming back the other way, far side sole, dropping it into transition. He was just absolutely untouchable in the prelims.
Brian Shima absolutely blazed around the course. He was in first place heading into the finals, followed by Sven Bokerst, Pat Lennon, Clifford Viljoen, the Australian Sam Fogarty. The 2 Lallemand brothers are in it, as well as Louis Zamora. An incredible final coming up right after this from Rome.
The ASA Pro Tour is brought to you by L2 Jeans, altitude tested by Team L2, by Slim Jim. When you need a little excitement, snap into a beefy, spicy Slim Jim. And for the latest on skating, check out asaskate.com. Feed your habit.
This is not a new building.
We're back with more from Rome.
Rome? Hear their stuff, you know, thousands and thousands of years old, and it just blows my mind. I've never seen anything this spectacular in my life.
Rome is one of those places that my mom always told me about. I'm Catholic, so I've always wanted to go to the Vatican, for sure, so that in itself, that was like an epic moment for myself.
Only the best run counts here in the finals. While these skaters prepare to battle it out in the competition, the question remains, is it a sport?
I think rollerblading is a sport because, yeah, maybe some people don't call it training, but you practice a lot of trick, or a lot of times one trick, and you're happy when you land it. So I think it's more a sport than an art.
Sven Bokerst has really perfected a lot of his tricks. All this practice has made him one of the best in the world.
Sven.
Matt Salerno injured himself in practice. Little guest commentating.
European style right here. Huge 540 to start off with. This kid is amazing. One of the most technical skaters coming out of Europe. Also with that loose European style. But yeah, Sven. Fakie 900. Fakie 900. You don't see that often. Really nice kid, super nice kid. Coming in that spine section, playing it safe. Huge flat spin. Liu Kang, very nice. Ow! He's coming back. He's gonna get this. Backside. Topside shifty over that corner. That is sick over that gap. You could really get hurt if you miss that. True spin to topside fish brain. He named technical, that's it. Coming back to the rail. Backside backslide. Kind of tasting the old school, but bringing it back. Yes, man! Sick. Very smooth run.
Yeah, sick indeed. Sven Bokers, check this out. Backside backslide, almost shuffling out of it. Beautiful run for Sven Bokers. Sets the stage with a 71.75.
We got some of the living legends of street skating coming up after the break, and more finals action from Rome.
We got a packed house here for the third stop of the ASA Pro Tour. Louis Zamora, 19 years old, part of the Esco Zoo.
Louis Zamora was voted #1 street skater by Crazy Roller Magazine, #1 inline magazine in Europe. As he goes backside, backslide, dropping an Elliot Macchio. Difficult trick, signature Louis style.
I kind of see skating as kind of a sport because it's kind of athletic or whatever, but when it comes down to going to a course or like a street spot, you go skating, instead of having oil paints on a canvas, I have skates, and I just kind of put whatever I want there and there. And I kind of feel better about it, like as an artist would when you paint something and it kind of looks good. And you perfect it, it feels like I just did something, you know, and I appreciate that. So I guess I appreciate it enough to keep doing it every day. So I guess it's more of an art for me than a sport.
So far in this run, his canvas is looking pretty good.
And he goes backside, backslide, 270 off. Again, another thing that only Louis is doing, really putting a lot of difficulty and really a lot of creativity into this run.
Also, the only skater so far in the final to do the huge safety grab disaster royale down the rail here in the huge corner box.
Putting it all together here in this finals run, definitely. As he goes 360 to backside mistrial to finish it off. Incredible run from Louis Zamora.
Not surprising. Louis predicted before the competition that he was going to be in the top 5. Some amazing tricks there, popping off the top of the spine, putting him right now in second place, solid for the American.
John Julio, he's a man. He can do every trick with his style, you know. He probably made up the trick. And he's fun to skate with, he pushes you.
John Julio's the king. He switch, man. And everybody just looks John Julio. It's so crazy. It's cool. And he's a nice guy.
If you watch John Julio skate, you can tell. Like if someone puts a little description of John Julio and you go look at the course, you can tell exactly who he is because he looks that different from everyone else.
John Julio for me is the illest skater, illest style. He takes the sport to an art. He's one of the only ones.
Ladies and gentlemen. That might make you pop pills. When I bust, you catch up like a drop reel. The Boston Strangler is on the loose. Bang, bang, niggas ricochet like a goose loose. And see, they pull on my nerves like a loose goose. I ain't got it all, I think one of them screws lose in the contest. If you wanna come test, then come fresh. I think you better confess, cause you ain't all that fresh. You was in front of your boys talking all that mess. Talking loud as hell, sticking out your bird chest. But without your peeps, you get quiet and nervous. What happened to that tough guy trash talk? Better keep your mouth shut or you be on the asphalt. It's your own fault. I'll put your career to a halt. You know Booking Mike is outlined the chalk. But you guys to like the way I rock the mic. My rocks and rocks. Crowd behind, so get up. What? And throw your hands in the air and wave them all around like you just don't care. Yo, you guys to like the way I rock the mic. My rocks and rocks. Crowd behind, so get up. What? And throw your hands in the air and wave them all around like you just don't care. I be serving y'all, lyrically murder y'all. So you can beat me on the mic, man, it's some nerve of y'all. Like never heard of y'all. Who you say you was? You ain't the hottest rapper out. You don't have a buzz. I intimidate whack rappers who try to imitate. I break your style down, let me demonstrate. Anyone who emulates, I obliterate. My mental state is too strong to manipulate. I have no apathy for whack MC. My mission is to destroy those who battle me. I put rappers to death if they can't bust tight. We can battle via fax, email, the website. I keep the fundamental on the instrumental. I beat a rapper to death with a pencil. I put him in the hospital. Their condition is critical. Bruised, battered, and scarred, looking all pitiful. Yo, you guys that like the way I rock the mic. I rock the right, crowd behind you, get up.
We're back in the midst of round one here on the street course.
Negativity is what I'm facing.
Alexis Athija out of Spain. Will the tributes to John Julio never end? You see him go 540 Liu Kang. Now, here's a trick that John Julio made popular, fish brain. Even getting a little rocket style for added tribute.
Sam Fogarty out of Australia. You know, people could argue that he's better at vert or better at street. It doesn't really matter. He was voted the best overall skater last year because of his performances at both. Here, just trying to hold on. He had a pretty serious collision before the competition with Matt Salerno, putting him out. Here, he's skating pretty well, though.
Fabrice Lallemant, one of the Lallemant brothers, doing that disaster royale and putting a twist on it, literally spinning out of it.
Little one-footed wall ride as well. Now, Shima, only good enough in the first round to put him in 7th place. He didn't have the consistency that he found in the prelims.
And this would have to be somewhat of an upset or a shock to most of those that saw the prelims. Shima came in heavily favored. Pat Lennon, Shima's good friend. Both these guys coming out of Redwood City, California. Pat Lennon sort of had to ride off his first run, but found some time to make a pretty big stunt out of it. Going disaster, topside solo across that gator pit, and then all the way off the end of the quarter pipe. Pretty sick stuff.
Well, with the falls, Pat Lennon ends out in 9th place. Sven Bokerst right now sits on top. Louis Zamora close behind. The Lallemant brothers in 3rd and 4th. Bergeron and Lennon definitely have room to improve. This is only the end of round one. We've got one to go. The war continues.
Rollerblading.
For the past couple of weeks heading into Rome, Dustin Latimer and the rest of the USD team had the chance to spread their art throughout Europe.
Best tricks. We had a green light. Everybody else is out. Here we go. Skating is just a form of expression, a form of lifestyle that you can relate to. I think that's what rollerblading is for me.
When I consider it an art is when people start drifting off, doing something completely different than the rest of the professionals. Just start not caring about what's hit, what's in at the time, and just start doing what they love to. What really expresses what kind of person they are.
All these skaters go to great lengths to make the skating look great. When it comes to naming the tricks, it's another story entirely.
Hallo, mein Name ist Bruno Löwe und es gibt Leute, die wollen den Namen Fahrvergnügen to Full Talk wechseln.
Names don't really matter. The way I heard it when it came out, it was a Fahrvergnügen, so that's what I've been calling it ever since. It's just a trick name, it's no big deal. It's a funny name.
Anything but that name. How about that? Anything but Fahrvergnügen. And I think that name sounds ridiculous.
Just call it a full torque.
Ich glaube, Fahrvergnügen ist ein besserer Name als Full Torque. Und Fahrvergnügen würde ich am besten so vorschlagen zu machen. Man fährt aus Rail zu, parallel, springt ab, so dass man mit beiden Füßen auf Rail landet, Körper nach hinten verlegen, Gewicht auf beide Füße gleichzeitig und probieren das Gleichgewicht zu halten und einfach Abgang.
Back on the street course. One thing everybody can agree on is that Pat Lennon can do better than he did in his first run, and indeed he did.
Don't know if you'll see a better trick. He had one of the best tricks of the whole contest. Unfortunately, it's not a best trick contest. You need to see a whole run. Pat Lennon did have a much better run the second round. And then for posterity, frontside unity, not something we've seen in a while. Again, the John Julio tribute still goes on.
The big 720 to finish it off puts Pat Lennon in second place after the first round. Thierry Lallemand still to skate, as well as Bergeron, Clifford Villian, and this guy, Brian Shima, hoping to find his way to the top.
And products. Got a problem? See your hairstylist. By Naya, hungry for life, thirsty for Naya. And by Rollerblade, fighting for freedom, justice, and a really nice ride.
Skating is fueled by passion and energy. At the highest level, it's a kind of performance. And at its purest level, it's a form of expression. Skating can be an outlet for, as well as a reflection of, feelings like rage and aggression. And it's only limited by the artist's own imagination. Skating is an art.
Clifford Villian is pretty far off right now. Coming out with a nice little soul grind. Med spin 720, getting upside down.
He had a low first round score, but the nice thing about the finals, the way it's designed the way it is you can throw out that low score. So anyone can take it here in the second round. He goes alley-oop, topside soul, putting together a nice line. You see working from one side of the course to the other, and then clean, smooth, and stylish on the Soyal all the way down that corner rail.
Clifford's got a very good arsenal of technical tricks. He skates super fast.
And taking a little bit of advice from Shima up there on the start deck.
Let's hope Shima doesn't regret it at the end of the competition. Clifford so far putting together a pretty sick run.
A 900. Wow. It looked like he was waving to, I think he was waving to Shima, thanks for the advice.
Clearing everybody out of the way. Time for one last trick. Little top sole there.
Very clean run from Clifford, putting a lot of elements in here, working around the course. Not really the most dynamic run. See him stopping sometimes between the tricks, but really put a lot of difficult tricks in there and hit everything that he went for. Very good run. See him here with that med spin. He puts 1 foot down, rolls backwards, and then does a 720 rotation over the hip.
Pops into it, and he pops into first place right now. Clifford with a couple big tricks, the big Bio 900. Bergeron in his second run threw a huge 900 as well. Check that out. Picture perfect. Got a little sketched out, though. Almost took out a bunch of kids.
This is kind of Bergeron's MO. He skates out of control. That's why he's one of the most exciting guys to watch. Thierry Lallemand, another exciting skater out of France. Remember, we've seen both brothers here in the contest. Starts out with that big topside sole over the wall, not quite able to lock on. And then goes
wow, sweat stance all the way down the rail. Very nice for Thierry, but exactly the same score in his first and second rounds. All the pressure sits on Brian Shima. He sits in 10th.
Hard to believe. He is definitely the favorite coming out of the prelims, trying to regain that form here in the finals. Had a tough first round. Looks to be on track, starting out with that frontside royale up the rail into the transition. No problem there. True spin, alley-oop soul.
Oh, going for the switch up. He goes down. That's going to hurt him.
It's so interesting because you see him trying to raise the stakes here. And if he would have just stuck with the runs he had in the prelims, he probably would have had this thing wrapped up. But he's got that competitive spirit and wants to push the limits.
Clifford had a solid, consistent run. Brian, a little bobble there as well. I believe that if he hurried up and he did a couple big tricks, Brian could still have taken it, but at this point, he's kind of gotten squirrely 3 times in this run.
Right, and then you see he knows that he doesn't have it. He misses the consistency in this run. I like the spirit that he's still going for and trying big tricks, but clearly it's not going to be enough to overtake the lead.
Shima not letting short though. Check that out. Going for a huge 180 transfer. Probably the biggest transfer because of the style of transition he was taken off from.
You can see that he's frustrated. You know he skated the best all weekend. Came out, tried to raise a level in the finals. Never quite put it all together. You see missing the variation on the rail. And that was the story for Brian Shima. Just didn't have the consistency in the finals.
And despite the big falls, Brian Shima still makes his way into the top 5. Louis Zamora did as he predicted. He took 4th. Clifford Viljoen, he's the ASA Roman champ.
Cliff, congratulations on your first ASA Pro Tour victory. How's it feel?
Unbelievable. I don't believe. It's too hectic to come all the way out here and skate your first stop with all the skaters you see on the videos. Like, you know, that's who you look up to. Now, I don't know. I don't believe it. It's unreal.
Well, it's very real, and you look great out there. I mean, you skated tremendous. I've been watching you for a long time over in South Africa. Tell me about the marriage between sport and art. I mean, to come out in the competition, but to do sort of what you love.
All I know is that it is a sport, you know, like but art in the way of style, I think, because everyone has their own style, and you do things your own way, and that for me, I think, is the art of skating. You use your own style to put out to everyone what you feel about skating. You can see it in somebody's skating.
Well, you've definitely got a lot of style, and you're rewarded for it here today. Congratulations again, Cliff. We'll be seeing a lot more of you.
Be sure to tune in at the next stop, Ontario, California, airing July 15th. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to EXPN.com. Part of the Go Network. Go.com.